We are following breaking news all morning long about a shooting rampage where 7 people were killed. And News Channel 3's Andy Dominianni has been on top of this all night long. Right now, he's joining us live at the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety. Andy?
Jessica, of course, we're learning now that the suspect in the case has been identified, a Jason Dalton of Kalamazoo, with an address on Douglas Avenue, a 45-year-old man who is the prime suspect in the murders of 7 people yesterday throughout Kalamazoo County, a series of shootings that began at a townhome complex in Richland that continued onto a car dealership on Stadium Drive near Drake in Kalamazoo and ended at a Cracker Barrel restaurant in Texas Township with the ambush murders of 5 people in 2 separate cars there. We are live at Kalamazoo Public Safety Headquarters, where the suspect in the case, arrested at about 12:40 this morning in Kalamazoo, is being held for questioning. I told you a short time ago his name had not been announced. Of course, I'm hearing now that we can release the suspect's name of Jason Dalton. He is 45 years old of Kalamazoo. We've been talking with law enforcement about the case all night. Let's listen in now.
Yes, it's important for the public to know that we believe we have our suspect in custody. We want the public to remain vigilant, but we believe that everyone is safe. We believe that this situation has been resolved at this point.
And that was MSP Lieutenant Dale Hines. Of course, that was immediately after we found out a few hours ago now that there had been an arrest and the prime suspect was off the streets. Of course, Jessica, this was a terrifying ordeal for all of us, for the general public as well, as we warned them that a man who was armed and dangerous was careening around the county in an SUV with a loaded weapon and had already killed several people. Once again, we are relieved to tell you that the suspect in the case has been captured and is now at KDPS awaiting formal charges.
Now, Andy, you were at Cracker Barrel this morning interviewing with several police officers. What was the mood out there?
Obviously, it was very tense, very nerve-wracking for several reasons, Jessica. This was a shooting unlike we've seen in Kalamazoo County in recent years, in that it was totally random. These victims appeared to be chosen completely randomly. They were in their cars, and they were shot through the windows of their cars. As we saw these cars be impounded and taken back to the crime lab for testing, we saw the windows had been shot out, leading us to believe, of course, and police have confirmed, these victims were shot through the windows. We also didn't know we didn't know exactly how many victims there were, and there was some confusion about that. We initially heard that 4 of the 5 victims had been killed. We would learn later on that a 14-year-old girl who was in critical condition did die as a result of the gunshot wounds she received. And there was a barrage of gunfire at that Cracker Barrel, Jessica. More than 10 bullets fired into those 2 cars. And of course, even for the most hardened detective, it's very difficult to watch and look at.
And Andy, because there was so much gunfire, when you first arrived on scene, what was the process for investigators to tackle this massive crime scene?
Yeah, a lot of steps involved in that, Jessica. Of course, a lot of different agencies working on this together. They first of all need to identify what is their crime scene. And in this case, it was quite large. It was a parking lot of a large restaurant, a little bit later than dinner hour. So thankfully for them, there weren't as many people there as there could have been had this happened earlier in the night. But they immediately knew that they had a crime scene of 2 cars and 5 victims. They also were aware that there was a potential for other victims. So they did need to search the restaurant. Every car in the parking lot had to be searched. And then they identified that this was a crime scene involving 2 vehicles. They also looked, of course, for any evidence of the suspect, and there was none. We're still waiting to hear if there were any witnesses at the Cracker Barrel who might have seen this happen or seen that Chevy HHR flee the scene. So they were out there for many, many hours, and in fact, only about an hour and a half ago, cleared the Cracker Barrel after impounding the cars for the crime lab.
And Andy, just one more question. Because the Cracker Barrel is a public location, were there any employees approaching you, anyone in the nearby area who wanted to know what was happening, offering any guidance as to why the gunman may have even ended up at Cracker Barrel in the first place?
Yeah, that's the big question. Jessica, we don't know why he was there. We don't know why he was at the Kia dealership. We don't know why he did any of this. It all seems as random as the victims he chose. We can tell you that there are 2 hotels on the service drive right off of I-94, where this Cracker Barrel is adjacent, right off the highway there. The employees of the restaurant were gone by the time that we arrived on the crime scene. They'd been ushered out of there very quickly by police. We can tell you we talked to quite a few hotel guests who were concerned about what was happening right outside their windows. But no witnesses to this crime that we've been able to speak with yet.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. Now we are going live to News Channel 3's Aaron Dimmick, who is at a home in Kalamazoo County where the suspected gunman is supposedly living. Aaron.
That's right, Jessica. The investigation all night is now leading up to this point, the search of the suspect's house. Take a look behind me. This is where it is at. We are in rural Kalamazoo County. We are in Cooper Township, just north of the city of Kalamazoo. More specifically, if you're familiar with the area, we are on the corner of Douglas and E Avenue. Douglas and E Avenue. This is where the suspect's home is. Police sources are identifying him as Jason B. Dalton, a local 45-year-old. Now, of course, he's accused of those awful crimes, shooting multiple people from late last night. About 7 people, we're told, have died. So the investigation right now here, we have lots of officers here from both the Kalamazoo Public Safety Department and Kalamazoo County. The mobile crime scene unit is here. Now, I don't really know what is going on inside the house. The officers here haven't told me, and we're keeping off the property. But over the past hour and a half I've been here, I've seen lots of officers go in and out. Also, lots of picture taking I can see going on inside. Also, lots of lights on inside there. They found the suspect's vehicle in downtown Kalamazoo a couple hours ago. In there, they found some weapons, so I imagine that is maybe something that they are looking for inside this house. Also, maybe trying to see if these attacks were planned. That might be some evidence they're looking for. So we're going to be out here the rest of the morning. Stay with us as we find out more information, or maybe even talk to neighbors about what this man was like. Reporting live in Cooper Township in Kalamazoo County, Aaron Dimmick, News Channel 3.
I'm Andy Dominianni. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, we've got much more to see. So take a second and subscribe to our channel.